my trash, you the maid, so you back.
Lavish, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, nasty.
So, while I am waiting for my client, I'm just gonna show you guys how I lay my acrylic and actually like explain it. So this is just like a regular nail that I've just prepped. I'm not gonna put any primer or dehydrator or anything on there. I'm just gonna show you. So when I do my beads, when I lay my acrylic, I lay them in zones. So zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. I do not worry about doing 3 beads. I more so worry about the zones. My first bead is going to be majority of the nail, and it's going to be the largest bead I can get. So it's probably going to be from about right here on down. My second zone will be right here, just enough to leave enough for a cuticle bead. And my third zone will be a cuticle bead. So ideally, it's going to be large, medium, and then a small bead. The first bead, I work on doing a thickness of my tip and the length of the nail. And then my second bead, of course, it's more so worked on building my apex, but I don't worry about it too much. And then I do my cuticle bead. After I have done those 3 beads in those 3 zones, then I go in and I fill in with however many beads I need. If my apex is not thick enough, or there's lumps and bumps or dips or anything like that, then I go in and I fill in with as many beads as I need. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. So I would get a large bead. And I can go larger than that. So I'm gonna go in with a large bead, about right there. And if it spreads, it spreads. I think that it's more about patience when you are working with acrylic than worry about what's falling. So you're gonna have your nail tilted down, and I'm just literally patting down. It's like pat and pull. Pat, 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 pat. Now, you want to make sure that you swipe your sides to keep it level and to keep your sides together. You don't want to waste all that hard shaping that you just did beforehand if you do have to do a lot of shaping. So as I'm working this acrylic down, I'm just patting it, and I like for it to go over my tip. Once I get it over my tip, I then start swiping just to smooth everything out. Work on my sides again. Swipe just to fill any of that product down. Look at it from the side. Then once I'm comfortable, I'll go ahead and take off this little end piece. Pat. If there's extra, I'll just go side to side, like that. And then I'll look at it like this, and if there's extra product, I'll lightly swipe it back up. Not creating any dents or changing the shape of this acrylic I just laid. I'm just slightly swiping it back up. So this is pretty good for me as far as how thick I would like my tip to be. Then I would go in with a medium bead or something of that sort and place it. And when I place my medium bead, my second zone, I'm not really focused on building an apex. I'm just filling in the length of the nail. So once I get it about over where I placed that first bead at, then I'll go ahead and swipe the bottom of that bead down. So looking at it from the side, I'm not finished yet. I'm just working on zones. So right now, of course, it started my apex, but I have a little bitty dent right here, but I'm going to go ahead and fill that in once I get done with my zones. Then I'm going to go in with my cuticle bead, place it on top of the second zone, and then I push it into the cuticle. Work on one side, then swipe that side down, work it to the other side, and then swipe that side down, and then swipe the bottom of that bead down. This is a practice finger, so it might look a little crazy. So after I'm done with my 3 zones, then I'll go ahead and look at it from the side again. I like my apex a little higher sometimes. It just depends on how it looks on the client's hand. I'm going to go ahead and work on my apex first, because as you're working on the needed areas, sometimes that overflow product fills in those other areas. So I'm gonna let it sit for just a second and then swipe the bottom of that bead down. Now when I am doing nails, I like to look for the look. And when I say the look, I mean that flush to the cuticle, apex, and that downhill. So I'll just put this bead right where that little dip is, and I'm just gonna pat it. Then I'm gonna swipe it up, the top of that bead up, and I'm gonna swipe the bottom of that bead. And as you can see, it filled up the little lump, the little dip I had in the nail. You don't want to swipe too much of that product away, because then you're taking away from what you need to fill up. So majority of the time, I just try to let that product sit where I need it to fill the most, pat it out, and then swipe just a little bit. So there you have it. It is my flush with the cuticle, apex, and then my downhill. Looking at it from this angle and this angle. And now I'm just gonna shape it. When I shape, you guys, this is how I am holding my file. Let's see. This is how I'm holding my file. Straight to the nail on both sides. I'm not curving it under. I'm not curving it over. Straight. You see that? It's straight. I'm not curving it at all. It's straight. After I do my sides like that, I usually go under and I make sure it's even under the nail, and I just lightly flick just to get this white stuff to come up. And then I will file it off like this. And even when I do my nail file like this, I'm still keeping it straight. Then I would do it the opposite way. See all that white stuff? That's what I call undies. And then I'll file it off. I do my tip, I hold underneath the nail and on top of the nail, and I file straight. So you see my foul line? If my nail is smooth and has no lumps and bumps, which it doesn't, I usually do not foul over the top until I e-foul. So this is as much fouling as I would do. And if you can see, if you keep your sides clean as you are laying your acrylic, then you won't have much fouling to do after application. Then I would just go in, seal my cuticle, and that's it. Flush to the cuticle, apex, downfall.